The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Let me just say, after View distorting the belt, they're proclaiming the real world champion. I'm going to tell you all, with a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life. When you walk around this world and you tell everybody you're number one, the only way you get to stay number one is to be number one.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Welcome back to the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We are live here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. And, of course, we are powered up, as always, by Belly Up Sports. I invite you to check out our network, bellyupsports.com. We've got a complete list of all of our shows. It's football season. It's starting up right around the corner. And we've got a complete list of shows, fantasy sports, you name it, college, pro, high school, all corners of the football world, and we've got it right for you here on the Belly Up Sports Network. Also, check out our website, bellyupsports.com, for all the latest in the articles. We've got a ton of great writers. It really is. We've got a great group of guys and gals that are getting ready for football season. The stretch run is coming up in baseball, of course, and right around the corner, it's going to be baseball playoffs. And then at about the same time, it's going to be the NBA and the NHL getting their selves ready to go here on this 2023-2024 season. But we kind of want to say hello to everybody here. It's been a while. I know we've been off for about 6 weeks or so. A little personal business to take care of. Kind of been a rough month or so for yours truly, but it's great to be back. Want to take a second here to thank everybody for all their well wishes during the passing of my father. He passed away about 9 days ago and 10 days ago. And he's up there right now with my mom, watching down on all of us, keeping an eye on us. And I want to say a special thanks to everybody for all their thoughts and prayers through this difficult time. And it's very humbling. It really is. And, it's nice to know that I'm very blessed and very humbled to have a great amount of friends out there. And the family that I've got is absolutely amazing. And I want to thank all of you. It strengthens me and humbles me both at the same time. So I want to thank everybody for all the thoughts and prayers. We are back. We're going to be on at night starting next week. Back with my regular job next week. So it's go time. I've got so much going on. And I'm glad that you could be a part of it here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. We're going to go Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time with another edition of the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We are powered up not only by Belly Up Sports, but also we are powered up by javicoffee.com. Go on their website. They've got great coffee. I got to tell you, it's they've got all this. It's instant coffee, but it just takes a couple of teaspoons. It's easier to use than grounds. It tastes a lot better than the gourmet coffee. And I'm telling you, once you get it, you'll be hooked. You can have it hot or cold. You've got all the different kind of flavors. We've got regular, we've got decaf, French vanilla. That's my favorite. Caramel. So check it out, javicoffee.com, and use the promo code Captain Lou for 15% off of your purchase. That is javicoffee.com. Also, we are powered up by MahlerBrosGolf.com, MahlerBros.com. You still have here in Michigan, you got probably a couple of months of good golfing weather left. If you want to look good on the golf course, you want to feel good. When you feel good, you play good. Go to MahlerBros.com. Check out their selection as well. Use the promo code BELLYUP for 15% off of your purchase. And also with football season coming up, that means that you're going to want to go to some of the big games. We got a lot to talk about throughout the year, college and pro. And your best place to go to get those tickets at a good rate is SeatGeek.com. And while you're there at checkout, your first purchase, you can get $20 off of your purchase by using the promo code Captain Lou. It's all one word, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. So that's bellyupsports.com, and use the promo code Captain Lou for 20% or $20 off your first purchase. So again, we want to welcome everybody to the show. If you want to be a part of the show, tweet us at the Real Captain Lou, or X us, whatever you want to call it now, as it's not Twitter anymore, but drop us a note on X at Captain Lou Sport, at the Real Captain Lou. I'll have to update my banner. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Captain Lou Sports Network. You can watch any of our previous shows that we've done over the year. It's coming up on my 6th year anniversary of doing the Captain Lou Extravaganza, and that'll be happening next week. So, or actually, I believe not next week, but the week after. So, in about 10 days, that'll be year number 6 of doing the show, and year number 2 doing it here on the Belly Up Sports Media Network. So, really, been blessed, truly blessed with being with you here on the network. So, again, drop us an email as well, sweetlou1965 at yahoo.com. And also you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page, all of that. Different ways to get a hold of us here on the show. And again, excited to be with you as it is go time. And if what we want to talk about a little bit about, we're going to do things a little different now. We're going to kind of gear our show more of a regionalized thing, if you will, here in the state of Michigan. I'm here in the Lansing, Michigan area, Grand Ledge to be exact, right down. If you're looking at the state of Michigan, I don't know how we want to do the map here, but if you're a Michigan native or anybody, you tell people, this is Lower Michigan. I'm right about here. So I'm about an hour from Ann Arbor, an hour from Detroit, Grand Rapids. Michigan State's in my backyard. So we're going to gear more to Michigan sports at the collegiate, high school, and pro level. And college football is a couple of months away. And of course, the Lions kick off in less than 3 weeks with the big game against Kansas City on the road in Kansas City. And boy, oh boy, I got to tell you, I've been a Lions fan. I've watched Lions games for 53 years. And we've lived, if you're a Lions fan, you know exactly where I'm coming from. We have not been to a Super Bowl. The closest we've been was 1991, of course, when we were in the NFC Championship game against the Washington Redskins, and we got blown out big time. It was bad. So, the next year we had quite a bit of hype, but Detroit fell on their face. They did make the playoffs a few years after that with Wayne Fontes, but that's been 30 years. It's been 30 years since Detroit's won a division. But the hype this year is absolutely off the charts. Detroit going 8-2 in their last 10. And, it just kind of, I'm nervous. I got to tell you, I don't know how to act with all this hype. A lot of prognosticators have got the Lions going to win the division, potentially to the NFC title game. Some people are ranking them right up there with the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers as one of the top teams in the NFC. This is uncharted territory for me. And I don't know how I'm nervous about it. I've got nervous excitement with the Lions. They've got the makings for it. I love what the Lions did with their draft. I love Gibbs. I think Campbell's going to be good. Brian Branch, I think, is going to be an absolute stud. If any indication of what he did in the last preseason game, and of course, it's just the guys from last year. I think Detroit is building something special, but now it's put up or shut up time. You don't get, we all know here in Detroit that preseason hype doesn't mean anything. How many years has Detroit gone 4-0? And the year they went 0-16, they went 4-0 in the preseason. So it's crazy. I don't know how to act with the hype. I look at their schedule. It's a little tricky in the beginning. I think it kind of eases up towards the middle and Detroit can go on a roll. But it's obviously all eyes are going to be on the Lions on September 8th or September 7th, I believe it is, that Thursday night game against Kansas City. And boy, oh boy, I'll give my predictions for the Lions next week and the week after before the regular season starts. But I look at that game and, I want Detroit to be competitive. What I'd hope they win. I think they're a 7-point underdog right now against the Kansas City Chiefs, and Kansas City they're the champs. It's they're like Ric Flair. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And I just look at it and I think, wow, it's a fun position to be in if you're a Lions fan, because they're kind of with the Packers now. Who knows with them with Jordan Love? Obviously he's got big shoes to fill. Green Bay's got some talent, and I got to tell you, Green Bay's schedule is not that difficult in my opinion. I think they got a potential to be an 8-9 win team. The Bears, I still think they've got a ways to go yet, and the Vikings, the Vikings are sitting there thinking, you guys can have all the hype all you want. Go right ahead. The Vikings, they won the division last year. Now, granted, they had a lot of one possession wins. I think they were 11-0. They're not going to do that this year. But we'll see what happens there. But I got to tell you, this is, again, uncharted territory for the Lions with all this preseason hype. And, the injury bug creeping up a little bit with them, with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know if he's going to play the rest of the preseason. He tweaked his ankle. Jamal Williams, the jury's going to be out on him. That's going to be Brad Holmes' biggest, could be his first bust. We'll see. Not every first round pick's going to make it. We've had our fair share of disappointments here in Detroit with that. But Jamison Williams, I know he's got that 6-game suspension, but he came up lame again. He needs this time in the preseason to practice. And I just don't know. He may not be able to practice the rest of the preseason with this hamstring injury. He can't use the facility for 6 weeks while he's suspended for his gambling issue. And, you want to give the guy a chance. I know a lot of people say he's just a kid. I don't buy that. I think the mistake he made was foolish. And I don't know. I mean, I look at that and I think, all right, what more can you do to tell the guy not to do that? It's right there, as far as gambling goes. We've been into that numerous times on the show here. We don't want to get into that. So, but I got to tell you, it really is. It's frustrating to see a guy with that potential, to slip up like he has been. So we won't see him to week 7. Detroit had traded for Denzel Mims, I think a 6th-round draft pick for the Detroit, with the New York. They traded to the Jets for Mims, giving up a conditional 6th-round draft pick. They waived him today, an injury waiver, whatever. He's been injured. Detroit gets the draft pick back, so no harm, no foul. They signed somebody else. I can't remember, Moore. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully they can get their wide receiver plate filled, if you will, before week 1 against Kansas City. But, again, we'll have to wait and see how that works out. But getting back to the hype, I got to tell you, it's like I said at the top, not used to all this hype as a Lions fan. We had 3 playoff appearances in the 2010 decade, lost all 3 on the road, a couple of them controversially, I may add. But the big thing is you got to win the division to get that home playoff game. You can't rely on your team that doesn't know how to win a playoff game to have to try to do it on the road, even if it is indoors. So this is big for the Lions to try to get the division championship and host a first-round playoff game. There's a lot of people that think that the Lions are, they're there. Now they got to take that big step. They got to learn how to win. And, and they got to learn. As crazy as it sounds, you talk to any coach. How do you handle prosperity? How do you handle being picked to win? It's one thing to be the underdog. A lot of people are, they relish that underdog role. A perfect example of that, we'll talk to them in a little bit, is Michigan State in college football. This is no slam on them, but not very many people are giving them an opportunity to win. Michigan State's, I think, a 5.5 point is their over-under. For 5.5 wins is their over-under. Definitely an underdog. Well, Detroit's played that role for a lot of years. Now they're not the underdog. I think the over-under on Detroit for wins is 9. That's insane. How many times have we seen that for the Detroit Lions? Not very often. So I'm a little worried about that. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. And, it's that's what it's all about, and can't wait for it. Football season starting right around the corner. We talked about it for the Lions. 20 days. Billy Sims, Barry Sanders, 20 days. until we get the start of the NFL season with the Lions and the Chiefs on September 7th. Kickoff, I believe that's on Amazon Prime or NBC, one of the two. I'll have to make sure of that. But boy, oh boy, can't wait for it. And hopefully Detroit can make a good showing. So that's the Lions for you. That's as we roll on here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We're live here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. We invite you to be a subscriber to that, and you can take a look back at all of our great interviews with some fun guests that we've had. We're going to have a lot more geared toward Detroit and the state of Michigan sports. We're going to talk a lot about the Big Ten throughout the year, the expansion with the Big Ten. How crazy is that? This is the last year that we see the Big Ten as it is. Starting next year, we're going to have 18 teams in the Big Ten, USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington coming into the Big Ten. Crazy. And is it really good for the student athlete? And, we talk about that a little bit. It's going to be 18 teams. Who knows how many more? You still have 4 teams in the Pac-12 or whatever it's called. They're left. Especially Cal and Stanford, where are they going to go? Are they going to go to the Big 12? Or are they going to try to get into the Big 10 to make it the Big 20? But my question with the Big 10 expansion before we get to Michigan and Michigan State, as I know we're jumping all over the board here, is how is it good for the student athlete? I saw an interview with, I don't know what her name was, but it was a great, great interview with a softball player from the University of Oregon. And she said, and she asked the same question. It looks good on paper. It looks good, all the glitz and glamour with all the Big Ten teams. They play once a week on the weekend. You can, the way you can fly there on a Friday, get there Saturday, come back Sunday, whatever. You don't miss class. What about the softball player or the baseball player for that matter, or anybody? You hop on a plane in Oregon and you go to Rutgers. Okay, you fly out Monday morning to play a Tuesday doubleheader, let's say. And then you fly back on the plane afterwards, or one game. Fly cross country all the way back. The classes, the practice, socially, studying. These sports, these non-revenue sharing sports, I know they're great and everything, but these kids are going to school for an education, not to play professionally. The percentile for the athletes, even in football and basketball. And we all know it's about the almighty dollar, but how does this benefit the student athlete for their education? They're stressed out enough as it is. And this is what I don't buy for, including all the sports with all this expansion with the Pac-12 going away. The Big 12 now with all grabbing some more teams, Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah. Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC. That makes a little more sense. But now you've got USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. For the fan, for football, I think it's okay. You can make it a destination for a weekend or whatever. But, for these other sports, basketball, I know they still have weekday games. So you're going to ask Michigan State to fly out to UCLA for a Wednesday game and then come back Thursday, miss 3 days of classes. How is that beneficial for the student athlete? And I know I'm not naive enough to know that it's not about them. It's about the almighty dollar, the television revenue. That's exactly what it's about. No doubt about it. But I'm a traditionalist to a point. I yearn for the days when Oklahoma, Nebraska was number 1 and number 2 in the country at times, but that was, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever. But now it's not. And, I don't see how this is good for college football or college sports in general. And I think what's going to happen, I would hope my solution would just be to put football in a separate entity. And then you can maybe go back to having these other conferences, the geographical conferences like they were supposed to be, like they were, 40, 30 years ago before the expansion, before television ruled it, with the likes of ESPN and all that, which, hey, I'm a sports guy, love ESPN, love Fox Sports 1, whatever, Peacock, whatever, NBC. But they're the ones in charge now. They're paying the big bucks for these contracts. And I'll give you a perfect example is Michigan State. This is a big year for Mel Tucker. But you talk about how television networks and the amount of money that the networks are paying for the coverage. They're ruling. Thanksgiving weekend, last weekend of the year, home game for Michigan State against Penn State. The Big Ten cowed down, or the Big Ten and Michigan. Well, Michigan State cowed down to the Big Ten and to Peacock. Moved the game to Friday night, and then moved the game to Ford Field instead of East Lansing. You know who suffers because of this? Yeah, I know it's a holiday weekend, but the local restaurants, the local bars, whatever, hotels, the local economy in East Lansing, they take the hit. Nobody thinks about that. So the networks, again, all kind of wrap around. It's all about them. And so the student athlete, the fan, they're second. It's secondary because the TV network money is coming in, and it's going to be amazing to see how this all works out. But we'll chronicle it right here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Hey, welcome again to the Captain Lou Sports Network. Follow us on X, I guess you could call it. Used to be Twitter. I'll have to fix that, at The Real Captain Lou. Also, you can drop us an email, sweetlou1965 at yahoo.com. And you also follow us on Facebook, Louis Gamlin, or our Facebook page, the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We're going to be back again next Tuesday. Just thought we had a few minutes here this afternoon. We'd talk a little sports with you on a Friday, kind of get back in the swing of things a little bit. Glad you could be with us here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza. I want to remind you, we are brought to you by Javi Coffee. We're powered up by them. Check out their website, javicoffee.com. If you want instant coffee, this is the best way to do it. You can take 1 teaspoon. That's all it takes. And if you want a little bit stronger, take 1.5. It's liquid. It's easy. You can drink it hot or cold. You can have regular, decaf, salted caramel, French vanilla, which is my favorite. Check out, they've got some great deals right now. And also, when you're on the website, use the promo code Captain Lou for 15% off of your purchase. That is javicoffee.com. And use the promo code Captain Lou for 15% off of your purchase. It's that simple. So that is javicoffee.com. And, we were talking a little bit earlier about Michigan and Michigan State, as that's who we're going to kind of chronicle here on the network, on our show from now on, the state of Michigan sports. Michigan ranked number 2 in both polls. How are they too high? Michigan, sorry about that. Got the wrong one here, kind of working the kinks out. They come in at the AP and the coaches poll both at number 2, Georgia number 1. Are they overranked, or is it about right? Now, if you're not a Michigan fan, I'm sure you're probably saying they're overranked. This is a big year for Michigan. For those of you that have been watching or just kind of following along in the world of sports, earlier, I think in July, Jim Harbaugh came down that he was agreed to a 4-game suspension, or they're going to give him a 4-game suspension for Hamburger Gate or Cheeseburger Gate, illegally interacting with potential recruits during COVID, and kind of lied about it. And he lied about it during the investigation, and they agreed to a 4-game suspension. Now that's been put on hold. The NCAA kind of shot it down. They're not satisfied with the findings. They're going to look deeper into it. This could drag on to the regular season, or to possibly next year. It could be worse. There could be no suspension. This one's going to be interesting to follow. So Michigan's got that out of the way for now. Not that the 4-game suspension was really going to hurt Michigan, because they've got one of the easier preseason schedule, pre-conference, non-conference schedules. Kind of think they were in the SEC for some of the cupcake schedules, the embarrassing non-conference schedules they have. But Michigan will more than likely start out probably 6-0 before they get to play Michigan State. This is going to be a big year. They come in off of 2 straight playoff performances, or playoff appearances, where they got beaten both years. Last year, of course, a heartbreaking loss to TCU. They're going to be ranked up there all year. As long as they keep winning, if they win the Big Ten, they're going to be in the playoff. It's going to get tough towards the end of the year for Michigan, with Penn State on the road, Michigan State, a night game. The crowd's going to be unbelievable, especially in Michigan State, when it was announced this week that they're going to allow liquor sale or alcohol sales in the stadium for 4 games this year at Michigan State, with Washington starting out with the Washington game on the 16th. Michigan being a night game. So Michigan's going to have to come in. It's a rivalry game. This is Michigan State's big game of the year. They're rebuilding, and I don't believe the hype that Michigan State's as bad as what people think they're going to be. I think whenever they are like that, they always come up and bite you. So, and then of course they got Ohio State at the end of the year. This year, it's in Ann Arbor. So Michigan will be going for a third straight victory over Ohio State, and then the conference championship game with who knows who could it be? Could be Iowa, and that could be very interesting with Iowa, and it could be Minnesota again, or possibly or Purdue or whoever. And so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. Michigan's got a lot of hype, just like the Detroit Lions. If you're a fan of both teams, you're kind of cautiously optimistic. Maybe a little more used to it with Michigan, but it's been a while since they've been this hyped up preseason. Preseason picked by a lot of folks to go to the playoff, maybe the championship game. The Lions, of course, not with that preseason hype. So again, it's going to be a test for Michigan to keep up with the hype. They're an odds-on favorite to win. Don't count out Penn State. The big thing Michigan's got over a lot of these schools, they've got their quarterback, they've got their playmakers in the backfield. That's huge. Their defense might be a little bit of a question mark, but I think, with their playmakers on offense, their offensive line, I think Michigan is going to be right there. And again, we will chronicle it for you all year here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We talked about Michigan State. Again, this is a big year for Mel Tucker. Michigan State went 5-7 last year. I guess my question is, and we'll have to put this up for a poll question for next week, what win total and what accomplishments will satisfy you as a Michigan State fan or an alum or both? They're coming in. Mel Tucker with that $95 million contract, kind of an albatross at the time. Everybody said it was a good idea. As we get longer into the contract, you see some of these other teams now paying their coaches a boatload of money. And so maybe $9.5 million over, per year for 10 years is going to be commonplace. It's right up there with Harbaugh, with Luke Fickell, who hasn't really done anything in the Big Ten. It's up there with the coaches in the SEC. So, but this is a big year. Disappointing last year at 5-7. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be for Michigan State. It's either going to be Hauser or Noah Kim. So that's probably going to be determined after the first couple of non-conference games. Michigan State starts out with Central Michigan and then Richmond to open up their first couple of games. Then they've got a big game at home against Washington. Michael Penix Jr., he's my pick this year to win the Heisman. I know Caleb Williams is returning to USC, but I think Penix is going to have just a whale of a year if he stays healthy, and I think he could be your Heisman winner. Watch out for Washington. I've got them going to the playoffs this year, potentially in college football. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's either going to be them or Florida State getting that fourth spot, because I believe it's going to be Michigan, it's going to be Georgia, LSU, and either Florida State or Washington. So Michigan State's got a big game at home. They win that one against Washington at home. Wow, is that going to boost their morale and get the momentum going as they try to steamroll into that big game we talked about a little earlier? It's the weekend before Halloween, I believe, or it's the 21st, of October against Michigan in East Lansing, and it's a night game. Wow, the atmosphere in East Lansing is going to be unbelievable. I can't wait for the tailgate for that one. And wow, it's going to be no holds barred there, man. So that is going to be something we can't wait to talk about here on the show. So a lot at stake for both schools, Michigan and Michigan State. And again, that's what we got to look forward to here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza with Michigan State and Michigan. The last year of the Big Ten before we start to welcome in 4 more teams. We talked about a little bit earlier. We got USC and UCLA coming in next year, along with Oregon and Washington. Now, my question is, what are they going to do with the schedules for those two? Are they going to keep their schedules right now and then redo them for the Big Ten? I don't see how they can make it so the Big Ten can add them right now. And I know next year the Big Ten is going to go one division for, well, it was to be 18 teams or 16 teams rather. So we'll see how all of that goes. Maybe they'll do 3 divisions of 6. Hard to say. And so we'll keep an eye on that. All right, we're going to wrap things up here on the show. And again, it's great to be back on. Want to talk to you a little bit about SeatGeek.com. With all these games coming up, the Lions, again, selling out to all their season ticket holders. But there's single tickets out there, or a couple of tickets, whatever. Michigan, Michigan State, Central Michigan, you name it, Notre Dame, Packers, Bears, whatever. Here's what you need to do. Go to SeatGeek.com and get those tickets, and you get them at a better rate. And also, use the promo code Captain Lou, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. It's that simple. And again, that's SeatGeek.com. Or if there's a concert you want to go to, a wrestling match, whatever, WWE or AEW, whatever, go to SeatGeek.com. That's where I send you for all your tickets. It's that simple. And use the promo code Captain Lou for $20 off your first purchase. That is SeatGeek.com. All right, we're going to wrap it up here by, again, kind of letting you know what's going on here in the world of the Captain Lou Extravaganza and the Captain Lou Sports Network. Again, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. Again, follow us on X, formerly Twitter, at Real Captain Lou, and also follow us on Facebook, the Captain Lou Extravaganza, or my personal channel, Lewis Gamlin, or personal personal site, my Lewis Gamlin, and also on Instagram as well. We're going to be doing the Captain Lou Extravaganza every week on Tuesday nights during high school football season, or actually it'll be on Wednesday nights during high school football season. It'll be at 7 o'clock. Next week, we are on Tuesday, a programming note, 8 o'clock. So I've got some other commitments next week. Also coming up in September, we will start, I want to say, the 3rd week of September. And we're going to bring back the ACHA Power Play for another year. That'll be the 7th year that we've been doing the ACHA Power Play on the American Collegiate Hockey Association. We do a 90-minute podcast each week on that. We go through all of the comings and goings in the ACHA. This year, it's going to be the road to St. Louis, as the national championships in 2024 will be in St. Louis. We have all kinds of coaches, players, administrators. We'll get Craig Barnett, the executive director, on. And, it's great to give the kids that work really hard with the ACHA, give them a chance to shine, and deservedly so. The true, in my opinion, right now, with the way the NCAA is going, the true epitome of the college athlete. That's with a lot of the club sports, and also with, the American Collegiate Hockey Association. And if you've ever watched a game there, you'll notice that it's not club hockey. It's great. It really is very competitive. And some of these teams now are starting to play some of the NCAA teams here in Michigan. Grand Valley is going to be taking on Ferris State. So we're going to keep an eye on that and publicize that as well. So we invite you to check that out. We'll be starting the ACHA Power Play out back up in September. And another thing we're going to do, we have a little pick'em contest. We've done it in the past on the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We're going to have it on the weekends. It's going to be on our YouTube channel, where we're going to do a parlay contest, and where we had a lot of success with it. I was quite successful in it last year. Kind of a teaser parlay contest. We're still trying to figure out the name of it, but we'll publicize that as well. I'll keep an eye on all of our social media platforms: Twitter or X, Instagram, YouTube, on our Captain Lou Sports Network, and also on our Facebook pages. So a lot going on. We just want to say it's great to be back. It's been a while. It's been about 6 weeks since we had the Baseball Super Show. And again, I want to thank everybody for all the thoughts and prayers. It's been a tough month for me personally, with my father passing away, but I want to thank everybody again for being there, and with all the thoughts, the letters, the emails, the notes on Twitter and Facebook. You don't know how much it means. And with my uncle and then with my father passing away, it's been a kind of a strange year with my surgery. I'll be back to work next week, so things are looking up there. But I want to again take the time to thank everybody for all the great words. I'm humbled. I'm blessed. It humbles me and strengthens me all at the same time. So I want to say thank you to everybody out there. All right, that's going to do it. Big week for me next week with the Captain Lou Extravaganza. Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, I've got my Freeland Falcons coaches show on MichiganSportsRadio.com on Wednesday, and then our first high school game on Friday. Wow, it's go time. And we're going to be nonstop now. I feel sorry for my wife. She is such a trooper. I got to thank her. Plus Thursday's our wedding anniversary. So it is going to be go, go, go next week. But who's got it better than us? Nobody. No complaints here. All right, that's going to do it. Hey, everybody, enjoy your weekends, eh? And enjoy the exhibition football games. If you're a football junkie like me, I know the Lions play tonight. I'll be checking that out. Or is it tomorrow? I'll check it out either way. So looking forward to that. All right, let's get hyped up for the Lions, everybody. Michigan State. It's just around the corner. And one more note before we go. Hockey. The Detroit Red Wings traded for a hometown guy. Michigan State alum Jeff Petrie is going to be wearing number 46 for the winged wheel this year. Detroit traded to Montreal for him, and he's going to wear his dad's old number. Of course, Dan Petrie, starting pitcher for the world champion Detroit Tigers back in 1984. So it's going to be great to see him. Red Wings still making moves. Trust the Yzer plan. It's there. They're going to be starting up in Traverse City with training camp coming up in a couple of weeks too. So towards the end of September, 1st of October, we will have our Red Wing insider Max Bultman from the Athletic stopping by to break down the Red Wings. So a lot of guests coming up here too. We'll keep you up to date on all of that. Again, follow us on our social media platforms, that being on X at Real Captain Lou, on Facebook, the Captain Lou Extravaganza, and my personal page, Lewis Gamlin. Subscribe to our network, the YouTube channel, which is the Captain Lou Sports Network. And, of course, drop me an email, sweetlou1965@yahoo.com. All right, that's going to do it tonight, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. If you're in the Michigan area, it's going to be gorgeous weather. Hey, if you're going to the Lugnuts game tomorrow night, look over on the third base sign. The third base side, I'll be about 20 rows up. Stop by and say hi. I'll be there with a bunch of guys that I work with. But if you're going to the Lugnuts game, stop by and say hello. It'd be great to talk to you. All right, that's going to do it. We'll see you next week. Just a reminder, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving. But most importantly, keep your minds open. Good day, everybody. We'll see you next week for another edition of the Captain Lou Extravaganza on the Captain Lou Sports Network, powered up by Belly Up Sports. So long.